Hi students, and welcome back to your project. Today's lesson is about visual aid and presentations. You can see your course book, pages 53 and 54. So the project ends with a final presentation. This is where you will talk about your topic, and you will speak for 5 minutes. This presentation is worth 35 points. And you should know, if you speak less than 3 minutes, you will lose 15 marks. So it's very important that you talk for about 5 minutes. Let's see how the presentation will be marked. Here you can see how the teacher will mark your presentation. He or she is going to look at 4 things: the organization, the presentation skills, your speaking, and the visual aid. The visual aid is worth 5 points and it is required. So I want to talk to you about the visual aid. Some students ask, what is a visual aid? Well, you can see here many examples. A visual aid is anything that the audience can look at while you are speaking that helps us understand what you are saying. So it could be a picture or a photo or a video or a map or charts and graphs. Anything that we can look at to help us understand what you are saying. And one really great tool is presentation software, something like PowerPoint. Maybe you've used PowerPoint in the past. PowerPoint is a great visual aid because it allows us to use many different kinds of visual aids. We can include pictures and maps and charts and graphs inside the PowerPoint. So you need to choose one type of presentation software. You can use Microsoft PowerPoint, or you can use Google Slides, or Prezi, or Apple's Keynote. They're similar, so choose one. And when you make your presentation, be sure to include keywords, photos, maps, graphs, charts, or clip art, anything that will help us understand what you are saying. And you can include that inside your presentation slides. Remember that keywords and photos and maps, they help us understand what you are saying. And photos and graphs and charts are more interesting for us to look at. Here are some guidelines for your visual aid. So do use some kind of presentation software and include an outline or a preview of your speech. Tell us in the introduction, tell us what are the main ideas you're going to talk about. On the slides, only use keywords. Don't write sentences. So 2 or 3 keywords is enough, and don't have too many lines of keywords. In other words, don't put too many words on a slide. And you may use bullets or numbers. That's helpful. But don't put too many photos on the slide. Maybe 2 is okay. But more than 2 photos, and it's hard for the audience to pay attention, and it's crowded and doesn't look good. Similarly, don't have more than 10 slides because you only have 5 minutes. And if you hurry and change the slides quickly, then that is uncomfortable for the audience when you are moving the slides too quickly. So less than 10 slides is okay. In your course book, you can see more advice about your visual aid. Some advice about the font and the background, advice to check your spelling and grammar, also advice about what not to do. Don't have too many fancy bullets or background. Okay, next in your course book, it gives you advice about speaking, giving a speech to an audience. So let's have a look. So a presentation is similar to an essay in that it's organized with an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. So first, let me talk to you about the introduction. And here is an example. The introduction is a chance to make the audience interested. So what can you say to make the audience want to know more about your topic? Maybe you can tell a story, ask a question, or a joke. Something that will make the audience pay attention. Look at this example here. Here's a question. Here's a question. It makes us want to know the answer. So after this introduction, you'll have a preview or an overview or an outline of what you are going to talk about in your presentation. And this is your 3 main ideas. And you can see this example here. Now, look at this language here. In my talk today, I will describe, then I will give you, finally I will tell you. So you'll want to do like that. In the body, this is where you will talk about the facts and information from your outline. So you can use your outline during your speech, but don't read sentences aloud. First of all, you cannot make eye contact if you are reading, and secondly, it's really boring to listen to somebody reading. So keep your outline and look at it to remember the next idea, but you don't need to memorize it. The outline will help you remember, and you can just talk to us. It's much more interesting. And another thing is try to use your own vocabulary and talk to us about this topic. Maybe you found a lot of academic vocabulary in the articles that you read, but the audience may not know those words and maybe you can't pronounce them. So it's better to use words that you know. Now the conclusion is similar to an essay. You can end with a summary. And if you asked questions in the introduction, you can answer them here. But one thing you do not need to do is take questions. We don't have time for that. So here's an example. And let's look at the language here. To conclude, I have, finally, I explained. Okay? So that is giving a presentation. So now you need to make a visual aid and practice your presentation. This is an example of what you need to do. Next, you can watch helpful videos that teach you how to make visual aids and teach you how to give presentations. And be sure to practice your presentation many times using the checklist.